Okay, family, this is Deborah with Black Education TV. I had to come and say something about a story that was shared with us by Elder Scales. You really got me with that one this morning, Elder, because when I saw the story, it just got me, okay? I couldn't stop the tears from flowing because that is such a beautiful thing, especially in this day and time. Now we're talking about a 98-year-old man whose wife is in the hospital, and he walks every day, miles and miles and miles to go and see her. Okay. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and play that clip, and then I'm going to come back with my commentary.
One man's love goes beyond walking distance and strength, rightfully so.
See, I ain't humped over like them guys out here, the old guys.
At 98 years young, Luther Younger started out from Chilai Avenue and was walking along 390 on Tuesday when
I picked him up.
Dan Bookard had just left the airport.
My upbringing, if you see somebody elderly and stuff like that, or it seems like somebody's struggling and it's raining, I had to pick him up. I'm not one of the ones that could just drive by.
A Korean war vet, Luther walks everywhere, according to his family.
My dad's always walked. He says he does it to stay alive.
Luthita Younger says her father now walks a different path.
He's still, nope, I gotta get out there to my wife. I gotta go.
It's a tough situation. And without my wife, I ain't nothing. I ain't nothing without my wife. And it's been a rough pull. It's been tough.
His bride of more than 50 years, Waverly, is paralyzed and has suffered from brain cancer since 2009.
She's the best cup of tea I ever had. And it kissed me and said, "Baby, feed me in the bed." I said, "Now this is what I need right here."
He didn't care how he got there. He doesn't care about the expressway. He doesn't care that he could have got hurt.
It's been nearly 2 weeks since Waverly has been in the hospital.
I can't stand to see her up there like that.
And Luther continues to go the extra mile to be by her side.
Now, as you see, that is one of the most beautiful, heart-touching things you could see and witness in this day and time. They've been married for a long time, and he calls her the best cup of tea he's ever had. Now, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. But to see him break down and cry because he can't stand to see his wife like that, these are the kinds of things that the so-called black community need to see, because we don't have a whole lot of examples of this kind of love. And I'm not saying that they're not out there, because they are. Those kind of stories are out there, but it seems like everything, listen to me, family, listen to me on this. It seems like everything in the universe is trying to crush black love, black unity, black marriage. It seems like everything is trying to crush that. And this story of this family here, of this man and his commitment and his love and his devotion for that woman, is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to see this man, almost 100 years old, taking that walk. His family says that walking keeps him young. Okay, so that in and of itself is beautiful. And it's awesome to see this man this age carrying on like that, because he loves his wife. Listen, the scripture talks about how a man is to love his wife as Hamashiach loves the assembly. And so this is what I see with this elder here. This elder is taking it to the max. He's saying, look, I don't care if I don't have transportation. Even if I do, I'm going to walk to see this woman. Even the young man, the younger man, because he himself looked like he was a little in his middle age. But even him seeing the elder, there's a lot to this story, family. And having enough respect to stop and pick him up off the side of the road and take him to his wife. This is the stuff that love is made of. This is absolutely beautiful. I love my people. I love to see things like this, because we don't get a lot of this. We don't get a lot of that. And like I said, there is a definitely an effort to squash that. We are just bombarded with true stories of how the black man and the black woman are just, it seems like they're finished as far as relationship. But I can definitely attest to having that kind of love for your spouse. I love my husband so much. He's my best friend. I tell my husband that he's one of my babies too. And I remember when my husband fell from scaffolding, and it was right after I said, baby, be careful, the way you're sitting, that doesn't look safe, And he's sitting up there and he's being a man and saying, I got this, I know what I'm doing, And when I saw, and my brother was there at the time, and a few other people were there too, when I saw my baby come falling down from that scaffolding, I don't know what took over me, but when he hit the pavement, I guess I just got strength from somewhere, and I literally carried this man in the house until the ambulance got there. I got him because I got him. I love my husband, and I thank the Most High for bringing us together. I thank him for this union. We need to see more black love. We definitely do, family, and we all need to fight. Let me tell you something. This old man, he decided, I'm going to preserve my love for this woman I'm going to walk as far as I have to get to her. It reminds me of the song that says, I don't care how I get there. Just get me there if you can, It's like he went over the mountains, over the hills, over the roads, whatever, to get to this woman that he loves. Isn't that beautiful, family? That is absolutely beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with having that kind of love, especially when it seems like everything in the world is trying to break black love apart. You have this group of people pulling on the black man's heart, and this group of people pulling on the black woman's heart and trying to say, no, y'all don't need each other, y'all need us. And we have each other pulling each other apart, and the cares of this life and spirits and all kinds of things saying, look, black love is finished. You see, when you see how we are treating each other, how the brothers are treating the women, how the women are treating the men, it seems like there is no hope. When I see comments sometimes and different stories that are shared on Facebook about how the women are just giving up on black men because they feel like the black men hate us. When I see stories of black men declaring that they hate us, when we see these things, we have to understand and realize something else is going on, because there is black love out there. There are black men that love black women. There are black women that love black men. But what we see out there, what we see being shown and broadcast across the internet, is the hate. We do have to deal with that spirit because it seems to be taking over, but somehow we've got to reverse this thing and allow that spirit of love and unity in black marriages to take over. That is what we need, and this is why this story was so refreshing to me this morning, because when I saw the love that this man had for this woman, it reminds me of HaMashiach. You see, it reminds me of the love that the Most High has for us. It reminded me of my husband and I and many other families that I know, the Ladd family. When I know families, this is why I know black love is still alive, Israelite love, because I love my husband like that. I would die for my husband. My husband said he would die for me, and we take care of each other. Whenever he's not feeling well, I'm there. Whenever I'm not feeling well, he's there. And as you see with this old fella walking that distance, crying, saying, I can't stand to see her like this. Black love, Israelite love, it is alive, you see. And I know the enemy and his sneaky tricks. He has stirred up. Understand something, family. There has been a spirit that has stirred up in the atmosphere. And this spirit goes to attack marriages. These are the things that we just don't get and understand. My husband had a dream. It was a few months ago, and the dream was very frightening. He saw that there were couples. It was a whole bunch of couples. And there were these weird-looking demons that were attacking these couples. You can see the demons. They weren't like spirit demons. They were like demons that you can see, and they were attacking these couples, and the couples were trying to fight, but the demons will overtake them. And in the dream, he said he saw one of the demons coming towards us, and he said, baby, he told me, he cautioned me to let him handle this. You see, I don't know if I got the dream completely right. There was so much more to it, but the main basis of the dream was the fact that these demons were attacking families. And we know that this is a true thing because when you read in scripture in one of the lost books, it actually talks about how there are certain demons assigned to marriages. There are certain demons assigned to attack babies in the womb. I mean, there's just so much under the surface that Christianity don't teach you, that many of us don't even realize. You see, this is why the scripture tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and the rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. We don't understand that this battle that we are in is very real. You think when you get into it with your husband that it was just over this little thing over here or this thing over there. No, there are spirits working behind the scenes to divide, to conquer your marriage. You see, spirits working behind the scenes. And we've got to take a more proactive approach in saving our marriages. It has to start at the top, okay? With the man first realizing that he has a head too. But if your man is not at that point, sisters, you're going to have to grab this thing. You have to say, okay, I need to get on my knees. I need to pray. And I need to come up against these spirits that are trying to drive a wedge between me and mine. That is the attitude that we are going to have to take. We cannot lay down and just let the enemy destroy our marriages and our love for each other, our families, even as it relates to your children, your offspring. Your offspring are the result of you and your husband coming together in love and creating another human being. So the enemy comes after that. The enemy wants to attack that union, that marriage, that household, and you cannot take it lying down, family. This is one of those things that you're going to have to be very proactive. Remember what I said the other day about the mountaintop. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to the mountaintop. Think about your marriage. If you are going through anything in your marriage, financial struggle, a lack of trust, a lack of love, a lack of unity, cohesion, any of that, that's one of those mountains that you're going to have to climb. You can't just say, okay, well, I'm going to do this in retaliation to what he's doing or in retaliation of what she's doing. That's not going to save or help that marriage. Retaliation is not going to save. But that is one of those mountains that you're going to have to climb. If you want to conquer that situation in your marriage, there are no shortcuts to the mountaintop. If you want to save your marriage, you're going to have to do everything within your power to do so. You're going to have to proceed with power on saving that marriage. And sometimes that means you have to get on your knees. And I'm only talking to those who believe in what I'm saying. I'm not talking to those of you who don't believe that the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are real. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those who understand what I'm talking about. You're going to have to get on your knees and pray for your spouse, whether it's your husband or your wife. Whatever it is you're going through, you're going to have to take this to the mountaintop to resolve your issues, because we need strong black marriages or Israelite marriages. That is what we need. Because let me tell you right now, in the beginning, Yah created the heavens and the earth, and he made man. He said, let us make man in our image. And so male and female created he them. Male and female. He said it's not good that man should be alone. So male and female created he them. Do you think that Adam and Eve were always fighting in the garden, arguing with one another? Do you think he was calling her the B word? Do you think he was knocking her on her behind? Do you think Adam was going around the garden looking for somebody else? Do you think Eve was chattering back at her husband. Do you think Eve was going off doing her, well, she was going off doing her own thing with the serpent, but she ran to her husband with this thing that she was doing. You see, I'm talking about the relationship itself. Do you think there was some type of disrespect going on there? When they both got in trouble, they got in trouble together, you see, and they had to carry each other through that. They had to seek the Most High for repentance. We have something in store for you all. I'm just going to let a little bit out as it relates to Adam and Eve family. We're working on it, and we are about to release this soon. When you look at the King James Version, and no, I am not straying away from the original story. I'm talking about the love between a husband and wife. When you look at the story of Adam and Eve in just the King James Version, you're just getting a little bit, just the tip of the iceberg. This is why those lost books are so very important. There is so much more to the story than you know, than what you have read. Now, some of you read those other lost books just like we do, so you know some of what I'm talking about. But as it relates to Adam and Eve, there is a lot more deeper text that you need to get into. Because the story of creation of man and woman is so very deep. The understanding of the union between man and woman is so very deep. This stuff that we got from the books that the Gentiles decided to put in the Bible, that is not enough. There is so much more to the story than what you know. This is why I believe it's very important that we fight for our marriages and get your marriage to a spiritual point where you can survive even the toughest moments. Because without the spiritual aspect of your marriage, a lot of marriages are not going to make it. They're not going to survive. As a matter of fact, we see a lot of marriages crumbling. We see unions that are forming that are unlawful. We see all kinds of things going on because we have stepped out of the will of the Father. When you step out of the will of the Father, you find yourself in a ditch that you have dug yourself, you see. And so this is why this story really touched me this morning. Again, we have a treat for you all as it relates to the story of Adam and Eve. There's so much that needs to be told, and we are going to tell the story. We thank the Most High for laying certain things on our heart to tackle and deal with, because we see, even we've experienced in our own marriage, we've shared a lot of things with you all over the years, how the enemy can try to come in. The enemy, his job is to drive a wedge into marriages, to break marriages apart. That is his job, you see. And we've got to be on our job. Our job as women are to build our house. The scripture says, a wise woman buildeth her house, but a foolish woman plucketh it down with her hands. Which one are you? Are you going to be wise or foolish? You see, we have work to do. Scripture even tells the man, it says, love your wives, that your prayers be not hindered. So the Most High is saying, look, brothers, your prayers can be hindered if you don't love your wives. And he knows when the Most High says love, he's talking about something totally different than what many of you believe love to be, you see. My prayer to the Most High is that he would strengthen the unions of our people. And that we would get an understanding, a greater understanding, a spiritual understanding of what marriage and love is. That is my prayer, because that is what we need, family. The kind of love that this man, the 98-year-old man, has for his wife, to where he's like, I don't care how I get there. I'm going to get there if I can, because I love that woman. She's the best cup of tea I ever had. Shalom, family.